I've got my top 10 must-drop players in fantasy baseball, and that list is coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. I'm going to give you my top 10 must-drop hitters in fantasy baseball. If you like this content, then please smash that like button. A special thanks goes to all of our subscribers who have been watching these videos, as you now account for 18% of all viewers. To the other 82% of viewers that haven't yet subscribed, I encourage you to do so, as it helps me create these videos for you. Also, leave a comment on a player that you think deserves to be on this list. Do you have a burning fantasy baseball question? Ask me on Q. Go to askmeonq.com/beattheodds, submit your question, and for a small fee, I will personalize a response and send it to your email. It's super easy to do, and it's a great way to get fantasy baseball advice while also supporting this channel. So let's kick off this list. At number 10, we've got Carlos Correa, 63% owned, 15 runs scored, 2 homers, 10 runs batted in, a stolen base, and a .272 average so far this season. I actually like Carlos Correa. This is more a result of him not stealing bases than his overall contributions to his team. With his stolen base category on the rise, it's difficult to roster players that just don't steal them. He would need to show more power than we've seen from him, and although StatCast suggests that there are better days ahead, the shortstop position is just too deep for me to wait around. Let's go to number 9. We have Lourdes Gurriel Jr., 75% owned. This season he's got 23 runs, 5 homers, 25 runs batted in, 2 stolen bases, and a .231 average. All of those savvy managers who happen to sell high on Lourdes Gurriel Jr. are looking like absolute geniuses right now. He hasn't hit a home run since April 16th, and he's only driven in 5 runners in that span. His OPS currently sits at .655 for this season, which would be his worst output in his career. Let somebody else who believes in him roster him. I'd rather go hunting on the wire. Let's go to number 8. We have Wilson Contreras, 71% owned. This season he's got 20 runs scored, 6 homers, 12 runs batted in, 2 stolen bases, and a .280 average. This is my unfortunate pick at catcher for this list. Contreras is expected to miss the next 10 weeks with a broken arm. If he was your top catcher and you've got an open spot on your IL, then leave him on your team, but the way the season has gone so far, I would imagine an open IL spot is very rare. You might be better off finding another catcher off the wire and hope to pick up Contreras once he's healthy again. Let's go to number 7. We have Gleyber Torres, 81% owned. This season he's got 20 runs scored, 2 homers, 11 runs batted in, 4 stolen bases, and a .223 average. There is no scenario where I see Gleyber Torres recapturing the top spot in the Yankee lineup. Anthony Volpe is running away with the job, and it's his to lose. Gleyber, on the other hand, has been an absolute mess this season, slugging .295 and having an OPS under 600. The only reason I would consider keeping Gleyber Torres on your team is simply for the context of the team that he plays for, and I still don't think that's enough. Let's go to number 6. We have Jake Burger, 63% owned. This season he's got 9 runs scored, 3 homers, 15 runs batted in, and a .176 average. I like Jake Burger's prospects to start the season, but it looks like he's making a mockery of my choice for a dark horse 40 home run season. Now granted, he was hurt for a portion to start the year, but it just does not look like a real power threat from him. And with Luis Arias now with the Padres, even if Burger starts to heat up, he's going to be missing that productive bat ahead of him. Let's go to number 5. We got Alexis Diaz, 91% owned, a win, 7 saves, 16 strikeouts, a 6.75 ERA, and a 1.64 whip. Diaz owners are in trouble. Although he posted a very solid season last year and was named an All-Star, Diaz struggled down the stretch, and those struggles have continued to start the season. He is walking batters at an unsightly 17% rate, and opponents are hitting the ball hard against him with an average exit velocity of 87 miles per hour. A demotion isn't imminent, but there will be rumblings if this continues. Moving on to number 4, we got Jordan Montgomery, 82% owned, 2 wins, 17 strikeouts, 4.76 ERA, and a 1.41 whip this season. Now, I know it's true that I might be picking on Montgomery a little bit in this spot, but he has just looked so hittable to start his career in Arizona. His expected ERA is right in line with the 4.76 ERA that he's posted so far, and it's only been able to strike out 14% of the batters that he's faced. His curveball is still a plus pitch, but his sinker and changeup isn't fooling anybody. I'm not waiting around to see if he figures it out. Let's go to number 3. We got Chris Bassitt, 85% owned, 3 wins, 40 strikeouts, 5.06 ERA, and a 1.55 whip. I think opponents have figured out the book on Chris Bassitt. If you lay off his soft stuff and focus on his sinker and four-seamer, you're going to find success off of him. Opponents were only hitting .220 off his sinker last season, but it's now being crushed at a tune of .380 so far this year. Bassitt throws his sinker 40% of the time. That scares me away and makes me want to hunt on the waiver wire for a suitable replacement. Let's go to number 2. We got Paul Goldschmidt, 93% owned. This season he's got 20 runs scored, 4 homers, 15 runs batted in, 2 stolen bases, and a .206 average. It pains me to put Goldie on this list. The 2022 NL MVP has had a great 14-year career to this point, but it looks like his best days are long behind him. StatCast has him with a -10 batting run value, which is in the bottom 2% of the league, and he's still striking out at an unsightly 32.6% of his plate appearances. His bat is starting to warm up, so there's still hope, but I wouldn't blame you for dropping him. And finally, at number 1, we have Cedric Mullins, 74% owned, 17 runs scored so far this season, 6 homers, 18 runs batted in, 6 stolen bases, and a 183 average. Now here's the thing about being a hitter on the Orioles roster. It is so flush with talent that if you are not one of the premier players on the team, then you would be at risk for part-time work if you ever had a cold spell. That's what's happening to Mullins, as he's been sitting against right-handers of late in favor of Colton Cowser. That's my cue to dip. There's nothing more that I need to see here. And that's going to do it here for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video and of course subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'm going to sign off for now, but I will catch you guys on the next episode.